Eva,
Felipe, how are you?
good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Welcome to our LinkedIn Live.
I know it's been so long since the last time we went live, and people are ready. I already see like 175 people that have opened up our LinkedIn live stream, and we are on YouTube too, and we are having this conversation live.
Very nice.
Mhm. I haven't seen that room before, Eva. Where are you right now?
I'm actually in Tel Aviv, Israel, because we had our BUILD EMEA event here today, live and in person. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But while you can see where I am now and see where you are at home, you know where our audience is. So I think we should ask them to hit up the chat and leave some comments with where you're dialing today. We'd like. So make sure you leave a comment. And Felipe, what's been going on since Build? You've been busy, but we're here to recap. We've had a bunch of events really around Build. Where do you want to start?
Yes, so yeah, I'm waiting for people to tell us where they are right now. So who is going to send us the first hello? Just to show you that we're live. So, Floyd says that our voices are skipping. Um, Floyd, is both of our voices are skipping or only one of us? At least Akin heard us and he's saying hi from London. But let me see the
Yes,
comments to see if people can hear us well. It's important for people to hear us so they can learn all about build and our recap. Oh, it's better now, says Floyd. So yes, we have
excellent. We've
friends from
got
London,
Cairo,
Cairo.
Washington, New Jersey, Florida, North Carolina, South Africa.
Yes,
Holy, we've got people from a lot of
yes,
different places. Dubai, South Carolina. Wow, that's really cool. Awesome.
yes. Eva, I'm hearing that your voice is a little crackling. So I don't know if you can reconnect. Hopefully your hotel has a better connection, but maybe if you just refresh the microphone, we can hear you better.
Okay, let me
Yes,
try that.
because we want to hear to you. So yes, look at all the friends we have from San Francisco, Atlanta, London, San Diego, Israel. You're in Tel Aviv, so hopefully our friends in Tel Aviv went to build, uh, and Eva will be back with us in a second. So, what are we going to talk about today? Eva is back. Hello, Eva.
Hello, I now have 4 green bars instead of 2 yellow ones. So I'm hoping it's much better now.
Perfect. We can hear you well now. Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
much better. So,
Excellent. Good. We're off to a good start.
exactly. So, yes, you're in Tel Aviv right now. That's because we're having build live there. How is it going?
Yeah, it was an amazing day, really. It was the only build event that we did live in person. And
Mhm.
I think what a cool place to do it. And Tel Aviv is a really buzzing place when it comes to startup culture, developers, and people really, really turned out. We had packed rooms and a packed agenda. We had 20 different sessions. I got to host 2 panels. I don't want to give everything away now because I know we want to also speak about the other build events we had, but suffice to say, it was great to see so many people show up and really show an interest. And I think it's a great testimony to the community we have here in Israel, but also how important that community is for us that we're putting this on and the partners who've embraced it as well and who came and had great booths, great activities, really strong sessions as well. So all around, really had an amazing time.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad that your connection is better now because everyone in the chat is happy to hear. So, what's our first topic for today? And the hint is on your screen.
Yes, our first topic is we had a bunch of sessions and events across the last few weeks around build, and we want to talk about sessions and which ones were popular.
Yes. What sessions were the most popular? So we had the Build conference, as you know, it's happening live today in Israel. But we had the big global event a couple of weeks ago. I got to host 2 panels. We're going to talk about that. But now everyone can watch these sessions on demand. So just come
Yes,
to snowflake.com/build, register, and get all of the sessions. And as the
There
website.
is a lot of good stuff in there. And if you think, oh, wow, there's so much stuff, where do I start? I'd say a good recommendation is to look at the opening fireside chat with Benoit Dargeville. Check that out. That was super, super popular. Also, this is for developers, this is for builders, for people who want to create in a world where most people consume. So many of those popular sessions are heavily focused on creating stuff. One example is how to build a machine learning app using Streamlit. And I know that's not just popular with attendees, but also with our own Snowflake people. I hear like every week people commenting on cool stuff they've done with Streamlit. So I highly recommend people check that out.
Yeah, and this for me is a super interesting theme. Like the whole day, like we call the conference "Build." It's for people that are building. The keynote with Benoit. I know if our attendees today know who Benoit is. He's one of the co-founders of Snowflake, and to have him start the day talking about how we're going to build the next generation of applications with Snowflake, it's amazing, and that's what we dedicated the day to. Uh, so yes, right after Benoit, you got Tanin talking to us about how to build a machine learning application using Streamlit, which also Streamlit is something new to Snowflake. Not so new now, but yes, we keep integrating it and we keep building uh, new data applications, including machine learning.
Yeah, and there were a number of other ones, and I do want to call them out before we talk a little bit more in detail about some of the sessions and the stuff you've been doing. So another really popular session was designing applications for performance. And I'm not surprised. Performance is something we want to get great performance. We're so used to, as private citizens, having great performance literally at our fingertips when it comes to applications, mobile applications. So we want our builders to be able to create that same experience for the customers and the people they serve. And then another one was
Yes, I have
building
to
up.
say, Brad is a star. I love Brad. Brad Culverson is a star. He's knows so much about Snowflake, what's happening in Snowflake right now, and what's going to happen next. So yes, when his session about performance, he talked about right sizing the warehouse. How do you get a small, a large, an Excel warehouse? How do you sign for concurrency? How do you get multiple cluster warehouses? Query pruning, compilation, and optimizing connections and transport for your clients. Transport as in how do we move data? So yes, and not only that, because those are decisions that you can make, but also how Snowflake keeps getting faster without you doing anything about it. And there's some pretty good functionality coming for higher concurrency and lower latency.
And Brad is here today, actually. He's in Tel Aviv and he delivered, I think, a couple of sessions and they were really popular as well. So do make sure to check out that content that Felipe just pointed out. Next up, we have building apps with the Snowflake SQL REST API.
Hmm. The SQL REST API, yes. So let's keep to the SQL REST API with Daniel, our teammate Daniel Myers, and again uh, the SQL REST API is how do we design an API uh, that doesn't require a live connection to Snowflake. So usually with JDBC, with other drivers, you need to establish a connection. Then you can start sending all the SQL instructions. But then if you lose the connection, you, you cannot keep working on that session and you need to establish the connection. And to make this way easy for builders connected then applications to Snowflake, we have the SQL REST API that people can leverage for that. And this session with Daniel was great and one of the most watched ones. So yeah, for example, in this session, our guest came was Joycelyn from Postman. And again, this is not only about the API, but showing you examples of how companies are building with the Snowflake SQL API.
We have one more recommendation. I mean, we recommend all
Uh-huh.
the stuff, but in terms
Oh,
of
yes.
the most viewed sessions,
Mm-hmm.
managed, connected, and native. Oh my. app dev
Oh my.
models on Snowflake.
Oh my. Yes, manage connected and native apps. Uh, and again, this is all about giving you choice on how you build on Snowflake. Um, a connected app, it's straightforward. You are building an app and you connect it to uh, Snowflake and probably the your customer's Snowflake account, so you can be hands off about uh, what data is, how data is moving. Your customer is the one paying for their Snowflake account, but you can also do manage apps if you're building for others and you don't want people to have their to care about having a Snowflake account, but you can just build bigger data applications for everyone. And native, that's the new thing, the ability to have Snowflake manage most of it. And to learn more details about it, come to this session. And again, in this session, we had Messages as our guest, and they are telling us all about how they see it as builders.
Excellent. So, Felipe, to slightly change tact, you've been to developer conferences in the past, right? That's your thing. What did you like about Build and how were you involved? Like, what did you do at Build?
Yes, so I love that Build is focused on builders. Like, yeah, this is not a conference. Like, we have pretty great Snowflake dedicated conferences like Summit. That's the last I saw you in Vegas the last time. Summit was incredible. Uh, Also, 2 weeks before Build, we had uh, Snow Day with all the announcements. But Build is focused on builders. And this is the place not only to learn about how people are using Snowflake right now, but where you get to learn about where Snowflake is going next. And I had the privilege, I was so happy that I had 2 sessions. So you can search for me. I had an AMA with the product leaders for apps, Unistore, Streamlit, and okay, let me read it. Yes, AMA with product leaders for apps, Unistore, Streamlit, the platform, and the Snowflake engine. And that session was phenomenal. I, Having Alison Lee. Alison is one of the first engineers at Snowflake, and now she's a senior director, and she knows everything that's happening at Snowflake in the core, like what makes Snowflake run. Carl Perry, Tiago Teixeira, and Chris Child, and again, these are the people building our features, building uh, the native apps, building Streamlit, Unistore, which is how we're going to unify analytical workloads with transactional workloads. Having her there, it was amazing. We had a live session, so I just got a lot of questions from the audience. And then that was my first live session. I had a recorded one with also a great set of speakers for iceberg tables, snow park, and streaming. And again, this is Snowflake changing. This is Snowflake leading with a vision of how we're going to do open source. What's the word for iceberg tables?
Unistore.
If I Yes, no, but there's for iceberg tables.
Oh,
It's
I'm
okay,
not
but we're doing
sure.
iceberg. Huh?
I'm not sure what
Sorry.
you're referring to in particular.
Yes. Sometimes I forget words, but that's okay.
But
People can help me in the chat. Hmm?
it sounds like you got to interview a bunch of rock stars, really. Like that's
Exactly.
all high caliber people within Snowflake who've been, doing phenomenal work over the years and who are so close. Like you said, they are the ones who create with their teams those features and the things, the capabilities that we're building. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah. So I have a live question here, which is, what are your expectations in the next year? And my expectations is to see all of these features coming from private preview to public preview to GA. I don't know the time frame. If we knew the time frame, we will publish it, but we don't know it because we like developing all these things as uh, in a solid way. And that for me was the most beautiful thing from this conversation. When you add James, when you add Three, when you add Tyler, a master of streaming, um, that we got to not only see what's coming next to Snowflake, but especially in this session, as we're having the conversation, you can see that all of this is being built together. Like the PM for Iceberg knows what the PM for Snowpark is doing. They know what the streaming group is doing. They know like streaming. And Snowflake, you can see growing it as a unified product. It's not like each PM has their own crazy project and they're going on their own way. No, they are building together. There's a common vision, and uh, I'm happy just to have everyone working on this and making all of these features available when the time comes to have them on public preview. But people will have a very solid, unified experience.
I agree,
Mm,
and I think that's something that just has always really fascinated me about Snowflake as well.
mm,
That there is that common direction forward, and that's been really good. Now, given that you
mm.
got to speak to a number of really cool people in your sessions, but also I'm sure in preparation for builds, do you have any quotes or anything that somebody said where you're like, oh yeah, that really resonated, or that's something you want to share in this forum? And if you don't, I do. So do make sure to ask me that question afterwards.
For sure, yes. I didn't bring the quotes with me, but again, it's this beautiful thing about we are building something together. So when I got to ask them questions, so w- hey, so Iceberg Tables PM, James, what do you think about Snowpark? What do you think about streaming? They all know what our common vision is. And what about you, Eva? You had some pretty cool guests too.
I did. So I got to host a startup panel today. So I had two startup CEOs in the keynote this morning, and we spoke
Hmm.
about what they're doing and what life is like in a startup and driving some, growing growing company forwards, and of course the work they do with Snowflake. And what I really liked hearing is the focus on value, and not just the technical, but also, okay, what's the value we're creating? And there has to be some value ultimately at the end of it. And that they constantly readjust. So they look at what they're doing. Are we still heading in the right direction? Is this still how we want our product to be built? Are we still serving customers in the way we have intended? And if there's any deviation from the ideal path, okay, let's course correct here. That's something that really resonated from that startup panel. And then in the afternoon, I hosted the Powered By panel. So we had three Powered By partners on stage, Kibula, Hunters, and Orca, to talk about their journey with Snowflake and how they've really utilized our capabilities to make their products even better and to serve their customers better. And again, I like that while we're in an environment where there's builders and developers and people who love embracing the technology and really focusing on that, there is still that look beyond and long term about value creation. And I think that's always important, because at the end of the day, you can create the most amazing thing, but if somebody doesn't understand the value of it, it's going to be very hard to sell it, right? So I really liked having that balance there, and also hearing about the people side of things, because that's always really important to me. So how are they fostering an environment where people get to apply their talents and their skills to great effect?
Yes. I love how Snowflake, as you say, you can have these two different focus. One is like, what are we building for our users? Like you can have the startups focus on delivering value, while also us that love technology is like, we're like, don't worry, go build the startup, go grow the business. We got you covered. Snowflake is giving us the features, the scalability, we can trust that our data will be safe and we will comply with the regulations as you know, every country has different regulations and Snowflake is there to help the builders deliver that.
Yeah, exactly. Um, One thing actually I just thought of as well that I noticed today is, so there were hands-on labs, and we had uh, in one of the rooms we had 150 people attending this live hands-on lab, and like the room was full. That was the capacity of this room, and they had so they had, obviously hands-on exercises to get started, and they were using Snowflake and Streamlit, and they were developing something. And I saw that at the end of the session, some people just wanted to keep going. They just kept sitting in the room and just kept going because they're like, no, 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 I'm not finished yet. I want to do something. And I think it's so great to think that, within 90 minutes people can start something, they can see a result, they can have the experience of what it's like to work with these tools, and to really create something where they're like, oh, I could build on this, I can go from there. And it gives them the experience, but also with many capable people around them who can help if they have questions, but also community people right next to them who are like, oh yeah, I'm in the same boat, I'm doing this thing as well.
Yes, yes. And things are not over. Like people might have missed the Build Global Live. You had this great day in Israel today, but we have more. On one hand, people can watch all of the recorded sessions, but what do we have happening right now?
Right now we have Build APAC.
APAC.
So APAC, yes. So happening today, tomorrow. So depending on what time zone you're in, but December 7th and 8th. Yeah, if you want to jump to that tab, if you have it.
Hmm.
And that is because we want to make sure that every region gets an event that's delivered for them and caters to them. So there are those sessions for very Australia, New Zealand time zone friendly sessions. And of course, there is more to do beyond watching the sessions that are recorded, and I do highly recommend that people do that and exchange ideas. But also, we have a great community. And Felipe, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about something that you wanted to share around Reddit and more. But for people to really get involved with the community, because if you're a builder, if you're a developer, you probably want to meet some like-minded people if you haven't yet. And our community online is a great place to start and to learn things, to ask your questions as you go. And then once, yeah, Felipe, let's hear from you first before I keep going here.
Of course. So one of my favorite places for someone that is building and has technical questions because they are wondering how to solve something with Snowflake is go to Stack Overflow. We love answering questions on Stack Overflow. Then
I
I
hear you're
love
very popular on Stack Overflow.
I try to answer as many questions as I can, but it's
Yeah.
hard to answer many questions because we already have a huge community that I love, and we have some stars that see a question, they jump to answer those questions. I love their answers. So we have like this super friendly, wholesome competition of how do we help people faster. So being part of that community makes you either uh, get help super fast, but then also people are competing to help you. And then between the people that are answering the questions, we get to build together because sometimes I have a simple answer and someone has a better answer, and I get to see how we improve and build a knowledge base together. And I love that. But also, I love Reddit for many things. There's many ways to waste your time on Reddit, but I come to Reddit to also for Snowflake news. I publish a lot of news here in Snowflake. People come with their questions, with their posts, with their knowledge, and even to get help. For example, here someone was asking, hey, I want to build a team for the Snowflake Startup Challenge. I have an idea, I have a product. Who can help me do this? And yeah, people are building together. And of course, we also have the Snowflake forums. But for me, my favorites are Reddit and Stack Overflow.
Nice, nice. And
Mhm.
I think they're great places, great resources to find answers. I also want to point people to our user groups. If you want to get more involved in the new year, why
Yes.
not attend a user group that's somewhere local to you, where you can meet people in person, meet people from Snowflake, people from our customers and partners, and other people who have really embraced using Snowflake and learning and building their skills. So that's another suggestion, and I would
Yeah.
highly recommend those. Good for networking.
We've been doing a lot online, and now the user groups are back in person, meeting up. If anyone is close to San Mateo, come to the users groups in San Mateo. I'm usually there, enjoying the company and the food that we put out for our friends. But yes, it's not only San Mateo. We're doing this around the world, and we have great community leaders there.
Absolutely. And I think that already brings us to the end. We had a great audience tuned in. And do you want to just maybe go back to our main build page so that people can see that again, where they
Yes.
can register to? So you'll just have to register so you can watch the sessions and then you can check them all out and do a bit of a binge of Build Summit. You're going to get hooked.
Exactly. If people come to slash build, they can watch all the sessions on demand. But if they come to Snowflake build slash ANC, this is where they can watch the sessions that will be, many of these are recorded, so they are not live. But if they watch it in this schedule, they will find people on the chat ready to answer their questions. And yes, it's just great sessions like our keynote, designing applications for performance. This is your opportunity to come ask your questions, bring transactional use case to Snowflake with Unistore and hybrid tables. Again, that's the future. Uh, Built-in APJ. These are APG specific sessions. Then it continues to manage it, connected and native. Oh my application deployment model, DevOps and Git flow with Snowpark. How to build ML model Snowflake using Python and Snowpark. How iceberg tables work in Snowflake, and of course, as you were saying, Eva, hands-on labs. How to build a data application with Snowflake Marketplace, Snowpark, and Streamlit, and the machine learning with Snowpark for Python hands-on labs. There's a
There's a
lot
lot
to
going
digest
on
here.
there, a lot. But I think also it's just great value for people. These are all freely accessible and it's great content. So, Felipe, thank you.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Danke schön. Have a
Yeah.
great day.
And to our audience, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for engaging with us and let us know where you're dialing in from. We literally had people from all across the globe. And we hope you enjoyed this and we hope you get a chance to check out plenty of sessions on our build page.
So it's time for my favorite mascot.
Wonderful.
Hey,
Thank you,
hey
Felipe.
Bear. Thank you. Hey
Bye bye.
Bear, dance for us.